All right, so today we are going to be solving systems with three variables. Solving systems with three variables. So here's a couple of examples. We've got three equations here. We've got a 2x minus y plus z that's equal to 4. We've got an x plus 3y minus z that is equal to 11. And a 4x plus y minus z that is equal to 14. All right, so three equations, three variables. We've got to solve for each variable so that those solutions will make every equation true. So here's your technique. First thing you do is you number the equations, 1, 2, and 3. Then your second step is you pair up equation 1 and 2 right down here. So here's equation 1, 2x minus y plus z is equal to 4. And equation 2, x plus 3y minus z is equal to 11. Then, to the right of that, you pair up equations 2 and 3. So we pair up equation 2, x plus 3y minus z equals 11. And we pair it with equation 3, which is 4x plus y minus z is equal to 14. All right, so really your first steps are just rewriting. And when you are doing this problem out of the book, you won't have to write down this first problem, this first set of equations. You can just go right to pairing up 1 and 2 and then 2 and 3. All right, so now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to eliminate a variable. And if you look at equations 1 and 2, if we add these equations together, won't the z go away? All right, so look, we are going to add these two equations. And when we do, we're going to get equation number 4. So 2x plus x is 3x. Negative y plus 3y is positive 2y. Z minus z is 0, and we're equal to 15. And that's equation 4. Now, just like you can add equations together when you're solving systems, you can also subtract. So look, if you've got a minus z or a negative z and another negative z, if you subtract these two equations, negative 1z minus negative 1z becomes a 0, because when you subtract a negative, it changes to addition. So in these two equations, 2 and 3, we're going to subtract. And we're going to form equation 5. And I'll tell you what, let's save a step by putting equation 5 right here. We're going to pair equation 5 with equation 4. So x minus we're subtracting, okay? X minus 4x is negative 3x. 3y minus y is positive 2y. And 11 minus 14 is negative 3. So hopefully now you can see where we're headed with this. We've got 2 equations left. And look what has happened. Our x's, when we combine these equations, are going to go away. So again, we're going to add these 2 equations together. Equations 4 and 5. And 3x plus negative 3x is 0. 2y plus 2y is 4y. And 15 plus negative 3 is 12. So if you divide both sides by 4, then we get a y equal to 3. Now, once you solve for your first variable, you're going to go back to either equation 4 or 5, and you're going to substitute, okay? If you know what y is equal to, you can substitute into equation 4 or 5 and solve for x. So I'm going to substitute into equation 4. So 3x plus 2y, which is 2 times 3, is equal to 15. So 3x plus 6 is equal to 15. I'm going to subtract 6 from each side. And 3x is equal to 9. And then divide both sides by 3. So our x is equal to 3 as well. Now that you know 2 of the variables, you have to go back to an equation that has 3 variables in it and substitute. So I'm just going to go back to the first equation. And I'm going to substitute an x that's equal to 3 and a y that's equal to 3. So I can solve for z. So I get 2 times 3 minus 3 plus z equal to 4. 2 times 3 is 6, minus 3 is 3 plus z is equal to 4. Subtract 3 from each side. And we get a z that's equal to 1. So x is equal to 3, x is equal to 3, y is equal to 3, and z is equal to 1. Now, the way that you'll see your solutions listed are as an ordered pair, alphabetically. So the solution would be 3, 3, negative 1. Here's your x. Here's your y. And there's your z. Any question on solving a system with 3 variables? All right, let's do one more. And I am going to write this second example. I'm going to start with combining equations 1 and 2. So let's take equation 1. That is x minus y plus z. And it's equal to negative 1. Equation 2 x plus y plus 3z is equal to -3. I'm going to combine this same equation 2 with equation 3. And equation 3 is 2x minus y plus 2z is equal to 0. All right, so if we look at these equations now, we've got a negative y and a positive y in equations 1 and 2, and a positive y and a negative y in equations 2 and 3. So since we have opposite signs in front of a variable, we can add in both. So we're going to add these together, and we're going to add these together. Now, when we combine equations 1 and 2, it gives us equation 4. So x plus x is 2x. Negative y plus y is 0. And z plus 3z is positive 4z. And that's equal to -1 plus -3 is -4. Then we're going to combine equations 2 and 3, and that's going to give us equation 5. So our x plus 2x is 3x. Our y's cancel. Our 3z plus 2z is positive 5z, and it's equal to 0. So now in this second step, we don't have opposites in front of variables. So we have to do what we did before the storm. And I'm going to use the 2x and the 3x to eliminate the x's. So if we multiply this top equation by times it by 3 and the bottom equation by -2, it'll give us opposites in front of the x. So 2x times 3 is 6x. 4z times 3 is positive 12z. And -4 times 3 is -12. In this second equation, or equation 5, 3x times -2 is -6x. 5z times -2 is -10z. And 0 times -2 is still 0. So when we combine these two equations, the x's cancel. 12z minus 10z is 2z. That's equal to -12. And then we can divide both sides by 2. And we finally get a z that's equal to -6. So if our z is equal to -6, we go backwards one step into equation 4 or 5 and substitute. I'm going to substitute into 4. So 2x plus 4 times -6 is equal to -4. 2x minus 24 is equal to -4. Add 24 to each side. And 2x is equal to 20. And divide both sides by 2. So we get an x that's equal to 10. All right, so we got an x that's equal to 10. We got a z that's equal to 6. I'm going to go back to this first equation and substitute to solve for y. So we're going to take 10 minus y plus z, which is negative 6, and that's equal to negative 1. Going to combine this 10 and negative 6. So negative y plus 4 equals negative 1. Subtract 4 from each side. And our negative y equals negative 5. And then divide both sides by negative 1. So our y is equal to 5. So those are the three solutions for that system. And it would be listed again like this. Our x is 10, our y is 5, and our z is negative 6. All right, so any questions on solving a system with three variables? All right, then your practice for today is going to be on page 171. Problems 3, 9, and 10.